Getting cut off on the thing now, Josh. You rotated too much. Thank you.
Where?
Turn your camera. There you go. Yep.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Donovan?
Donovan.
Dude, it's November already.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, grief.
Remember, we got the new intro working now too. Just as a quick reminder.
Oh yeah, that's good because I would forget.
I got a message on the Instagram. So this was a week ago. So I just started listening from the beginning. Before I got here, I had no interest at all in Doctor Strange, but after listening, I ran home and watched it. Thanks, guys.
That's crazy that we did a Doctor Strange spoiler. It seems like so long ago.
Yeah. We've been doing this a little while now.
Batman and Robin, huh? I'll give that a go.
Those nibbles. Bell nibbles.
I am so glad I'm recording right now. What's up, Clint? Clint's in the chat.
Mortal Kombat again, eh? Yeah, we're gonna. I think I'll change it up every month. Wait, this is a new month. 1 second. I have another one.
I love how we spent that whole time getting ready now to stream just to change it up.
I'm not gonna change it.
Well, we're talking. We're giving them something for their money.
That's right. I don't think I have any other ones on this machine right now.
It's all this BTS footage.
Between the sheets.
Not the BTS I was thinking of.
BTLDist. I don't know. Hey, check it out.
What?
Nice.
I need to go get Grant's mask to show then, don't I?
It'll be the All Hallows Eve or was it All Saints Day? It'll be an All Saints Day show where we just wear our costumes.
Should I go get it? I'm gonna go get it.
It's too big.
When I first saw it on the printer, for some reason I thought it was Batman.
Everybody thought it was Batman. People said I was stupid because Batman's not in Marvel. Like, very good. Yeah. But a couple people said that it ran small, so I printed it at 102%, but now it's too big. I pressed that over my face. It's way too big.
Put like a piece of film inside, maybe to hold it on your forehead.
Yeah, well, it has a back. Like, the back is not on. It's over there.
Okay.
But I can't put it on my head if the back is attached.
Got it.
So I was thinking about putting, like, a piece of elastic on the inside so it'll, like, come out. But it's big.
Did you finish watching season 3?
We did. We finished it last night.
I finished it last night.
We should talk about it.
We could. Be kind of a spoiler for anybody in the live chat, though. That's going to change some things up for us.
What do you mean?
Well, because anytime we did a spoiler cast before, we weren't doing live streams.
True that.
Something to think about for the future, possibly.
Yeah. Oh, I like your topic ideas, but nice.
Cannot hear you at all. This does not work.
There you go. You can't hear. I won't really be able to breathe out of my nose.
I feel like that now. I'm just gonna.
Yep. See, now you're the reverse of the other Daredevil.
Yep.
I tried.
Yeah, it's too big. It needs some foam on the inside, I guess, to hold it where it needs to be. And it's a little big.
You almost look like a Darth Helmet, or no, Dark Helmet. What's the guy's name in Spaceballs?
Yeah. Like one of the Mars Attacks aliens.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
Turn it that way.
Base.
or like Megamind.
Yeah.
You got a lot of use out of that one helmet.
Yeah.
He looked really cool in his costume, man. He did a great job.
Oh, thanks, yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, very impressive. You must have hauled butt on that because
I did. I did. He smelled like spray paint running through the neighborhood. It was awesome. It might be why I got so tired so quickly too.
He was asphyxiated.
fumes. Probably to walk in your open flames.
It's still rather fumy.
Events for a couple days.
Today we had a PVC pipe project that we had glued,
Go ahead.
and then we had like a couple printers going at the same time. So we were inside the office, and I was like, "Man, I'm getting a headache." Like just huffing PVC, like glue fumes and 3D printer, deadly 3D printer exhaust everywhere. Ugh.
I need to make like a helmet stand somewhere.
There you go. Get like 4 projects out of one costume.
Yeah. Yeah, I got. I'll talk about it a little bit on the stream, but I hauled ass.
All right, I'm ready if you guys are.
Let's do it.
Yeah. First in the chat, how do we sound relative to each other? Do I sound much louder than the rest of them? Hi, I had Fruit Loops for breakfast. Who else had stuff for breakfast so they can hear me compared to you?
I had coffee.
I had
Yeah.
toast with peanut butter. Just delicious. Crunchy peanut butter.
I was gonna say.
The only kind of.
What was it, extreme peanut butter?
That's just regular.
Just peanuts?
Yeah, extreme is just peanuts.
Jim Gaffigan. I sound quieter than they do. Alright. Boop. There we go. Check, check. 1, 2. Need some talking.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Bacon is awesome.
Making
I
bacon?
prefer sausage.
Bacon.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Alright. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. I can see, like, the sound wave thing bouncing.
Waveform.
Well, it's not really a waveform. It's like an equalizer for the volume.
Oh, yeah.
Horizontal equalizer.
Does it show the output, the gain?
Yeah? Talk more about the gain.
Gotta make gains, man.
Doesn't seem like it's changing it.
Any updates in the chat? Because we'll get started once we get these audio levels right.
Yup.
I
Alright.
think you sounded a little bit louder.
I think it's okay now. Let's do it.
Okay. Hey friends, it's that time once again. I'm Sean,
I am Josh.
And I am Wes.
and you're listening to the Making Geeks podcast for makers, dads, and geeks.
I like how we're all friends now.
All time.
That's a
Jeez.
formal declaration.
Yep, just we're on a first name basis now.
Welcome to the friend zone.
We need a
Bunch of hover hands.
notary to make this official.
Yep.
That's true.
It's like a digital blood pact.
Go team.
So, how was your Halloween? Since we're recording on Thursday, November 1st, and Halloween was last night. How'd it go?
We had a tornado warning, so that was fun. Yeah, the town moved the trick-or-treating from the 31st to the 30th because they knew that the weather was going to be bad, which worked out really well. So we had ours the day before. It was pretty sweet. We go to Bob's neighborhood where there's a bunch of rich old people and they give out really, really good candy. So the kids don't realize that they're missing half of their candy already.
I noticed there's a trend in our neighborhood to give out flaming hot Cheetos and Funyuns.
Really?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were intentionally trying to give the kids diarrhea or if that's just a pleasant byproduct of their choices.
Funyuns are a young man's chip. Like, I could eat some Funyuns before, but now I look at Funyuns and I'm like, that's a bad decision.
Funyuns
I
and
lost the
Bugles to
taste
me
for a
are
lot
just
of
like,
that.
ugh. Bugles? No way. Mm-mm.
I think I had lower standards when I was a kid.
Yeah.
and I just ate just about anything. And now it's I still have those standards, but I'm a little bit more choosy.
Oh, I forgot. I had a thing for Halloween for us. It was like a this versus that kind of candy deal.
I like it.
I found on the internet. It's very Pinteresty.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll show it up
Oh,
for the people in the chat, so you can see like which one of these two candies you prefer. So if you guys would like to do this or like to partake, since we're on the topic of candy,
should I drop like a game board so we know who's who against who by the time we get to the end?
I think it's all right. We'll share
All
the
right.
candy. That's what it is. So
Fair enough.
now that we've gotten weird Funyuns and stuff out of the way,
Ugh.
people shouldn't. I don't know. They had people in that neighborhood that were giving out the cans of soda.
What?
So I don't know what's right in the world now.
Which cans of soda?
I don't
Specific
remember, but
kinds?
someone was saying that like you can get cans of soda, and I'm like, okay, I don't see how that's any worse for you than a giant bag full of candy.
True, I guess.
All right, Hershey's milk chocolate or Hershey's white chocolate, or I think this is the cookies and cream thing.
Milk chocolate.
Wes, what'd you say? Sorry,
Milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate.
I'm the white chocolate.
I'll eat either, but I would have the milk chocolate.
I don't really like the chocolate. By itself, it's just
I think the white chocolate is the same chocolate bleached.
No, it's made with cocoa butter. It's not made with actual cocoa seeds or something. I don't
Okay,
know.
so you've done the research. Okay.
Purists are angry because it's not real chocolate. It's like a chocolate byproduct or something.
Right, they had to change the listing on some of their products because milk cocoa. What was it? I forget what it's called. It wasn't It wasn't chocolate as the number one ingredient. It was
Yeah, it's cocoa butter.
cocoa butter. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
All right, number 2, Butterfinger or Reese's peanut butter cups.
Peanut butter cups.
Those
It's
are
actually
difficult,
pretty hard. Yeah.
right?
Peanut butter cups.
I go with Butterfinger because I had some of the kids like individual Reese's cups.
Which ones
they-
though?
They changed the packaging. They're not wrapped in the foil anymore. They're in their own little cellophane, not really cellophane, but own little pouch.
Are they the bite-sized ones, or are they
Yeah.
the traditional ones that come in
Well,
twos?
the one in the picture has the traditional one in 2s,
Mm-hmm.
but the ones usually for Halloween are like the little bite-sized ones.
Yeah, all of ours are wrapped in foil.
Heck no, man. The kids got a whole bunch of them this time that were in like a little package with little ridges on top you had to tear open. And then you had the cup in the wrapper.
But it's
Not-
a short, squatty one.
Wait. Josh, did you say Reese's or
Yep.
Reese's?
Reese's.
Reese's.
Oh, I could have sworn you
It's a-
said Reese's.
Did I say Reese's? If I said
I-
Reese's, it was because I was trying way too hard to read that correctly. I said Reese's.
I'm only asking because I heard on a radio show this morning like this debate about the correct way to say it. So
Oh.
I
I like
Yeah.
that debate too.
Well, there's an apostrophe S. So if you took away the S, like it didn't belong to this person named Reese, Reese. So it's Reese's because it's apostrophe. It belongs. Or if Reese is a peanut butter cup, not that it has possession.
Right.
I wasn't intended to really.
No,
start
this is where this discussion needs
If
to
the,
go.
All
if
right,
the
all
cup
right.
itself is named Reese, and they're just trying to tell you that the cups are named Reese, I'm gonna say Reese's peanut butter cups, and then they just shortened it to Reese's peanut butter cups. Or if this person named Reese has possession of the peanut butter cups, but either way,
It says pieces as well.
Reese's.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be two different people named Reese, and one is a peanut butter cup and one is a piece. Reese's Pieces. Or Reese's peanut butter cups. It works both ways, but you don't say Reese's.
And
Don't say-
everybody's dropping out of the chat.
Those are Wessie's kids. Those are Shawnee's shoes. Okay,
That's
anyway,
even worse.
next
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Three Musketeers or Twix?
Twix, easily.
Twix.
Now they're specifying the caramel Twix, right? Because there used to be several different variants when it first came out. I don't think you
didn't
can
know
even
such
get peanut butter Twix anymore. Anyways.
I don't know.
There's something
I think-
weird going on in Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Something weird in the
That's
middle.
the bottom
I
of the
don't know what
barrel chocolate.
It feels kind of like metallic. I don't know what it is.
Some people love it, and it just
No.
feels like there's
Those
nothing
people
to
are
it.
wrong.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you were incorrect. All right, so it says regular M&Ms or Kit Kat bars.
Kit Kat.
And Wes, this is traditional American Kit Kat bars,
Thank you.
not European Kit Kat bars.
I love how we're all candy experts on here.
Some super candy snobs.
Well, anywhere but America candy. In Mexico, it's Nestle as well. Anyways,
Okay.
Kit Kat.
What was the other one? I
Or
just
plain M&Ms.
Regular plain M&Ms. Yep.
I would have to say the Kit Kat for right now. The M&Ms don't taste as good as they used to. The regular ones.
I've never liked regular M&Ms. I always thought they were just boring. If they were peanut M&Ms, I'd tear up some peanut M&Ms. They'd win hands down. Regular M&Ms, yeah. We use those as like an incentive for the kids to poop in the potty when they were potty training.
Same.
Go poop, you get an M&M. All right, so Baby Ruth or Snickers?
Snickers. That's not even a fair comparison.
Baby Ruth.
What?
I could go either way on this one.
There's no contest.
I
To me,
Look, so,
but that is the same as Three Musketeers to me.
all right.
It's got peanuts and caramel in it. It's
Like
pretty much
it's
the same
bottom of the
thing.
barrel. Like you get a multi-pack, it's going to be the last one chosen.
If you asked me 10 years ago, my response would be different. But if I'm going off of my current perception, something changed with Snickers and it's not as good. So I would say Baby Ruth.
I think it's basically the same thing, just shuffled around in a different order. Like
Chocolate,
Baby Ruth
peanuts, and caramel.
has more peanuts
Yeah.
than Snickers does, and Snickers has more of that nougat whatever crap than it does. I think it's just the same thing, just different ratios.
It's that joke about Mexican food. It's tortillas, meat, and cheese in different configurations.
All right, Almond Joys or Nestle's Crunch?
Crunch.
Crunch, that coconut's nasty sometimes.
Almond Joys. I like the coconut one. Milky Way or a Mars bar, which I've never had. I don't even know what that is.
I couldn't tell you actually.
I'll pass them both.
Yeah, it
Milky
seems
Way
like
is gross.
isn't Milky Way the same thing as the Three Musketeers?
In my mind, it is. I
It's
don't think it
a
is.
it's the GoBots version.
Oh. Poor Mars bar. All right, Skittles or Starbursts?
Skittles.
Orange Starburst. They're all the other ones you can throw away.
Orange and pink star? No, pink Starburst, man. Ooh, pink Starbursts are delicious. I give the red ones to Tiffany. That's why we're married. It's because she likes the red ones and I don't. I'd probably go with Starburst. But I would go either way on that one. Lemon Heads or those sour warheads?
Kids?
Is that what they're called? Huh?
Sour Patch Kids?
No, not Sour Patch Kids. Those will come up later.
Warheads.
The warheads, the sour ones.
Oh, lemon drops.
Yeah.
Lemonheads.
Yeah.
Sorry, lemon heads.
Yeah.
Airheads or Laffy Taffy?
Airheads.
A toothbrush.
Yeah.
Either one, you're going to be eating it like an
yeah.
hour later anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
You got a cavity, you just pack it full of Laffy Taffy.
I should have used that for like my wound control years ago.
9 out of
like
10
battle-
dentists recommend Airheads for keeping their
Battlefield
yachts
first aid.
paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swedish Fish or Sour Patch Kids?
Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch.
I had a Swedish Fish yesterday.
It's like it's
They need to change the name.
It's gummy.
it's a
boring
waxy gummy bear. Really.
Yeah, but it's only red.
Yeah.
Like if you could take not too terrible cough syrup. Like that's how they should make cough syrup these days. Is disguise them as Swedish Fish.
It's like those red throat lozenges when we were a kid.
Yeah, or like a multivitamin.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Sean?
I forgot.
Fair enough.
All right, Nerds or Sweet Tarts?
Nerds.
Nerds.
I don't really like either one of those. Maybe Sweet Tarts.
Have we agreed on any one of these?
Maybe not. Haribo gummy bears or hard Jolly Ranchers?
Gummy bears.
Neither.
Gummy bears. Or the Coke bottles? You ever had the Coke bottles?
The
Little cola bottles?
The caps or like the full,
yeah.
No.
The
The
wax- the
Haribo
wax-
like gummy, not the wax ones.
Oh,
The Haribo makes like a little gummy Coke bottle, like a soda bottle.
oh, I haven't seen those.
I haven't
They're
ordered
delicious.
enough Prusa 3D printers to get the.
Yeah. I used to live in Europe, and Haribo stuff was everywhere. I mean, that's like the candy aisle. Besides the Nestle Kit Kat that we used to eat all the time and not know that they were special.
Indeed.
And the last one, Lifesavers or Twizzlers?
It's an odd comparison, isn't it? Hard
Yeah.
candy versus the.
That's how I felt about the last one.
Unless they're comparing the gummy lifesaver,
Sure.
I guess Twizzler.
I mean, the Twizzler is interesting because it has a multi-purpose thing. It's a straw and a candy at the same time. But beyond that, I would choose the both lifesavers, the gummy and
Tiffany loves Twizzlers. But they make like off-brand, I guess, licorice. It's not Twizzler, but they make it in different flavors. Tiff's mom owns an antique store, and they sell some there. And so they have like orange and fruit punch and whatever. And like those are pretty good. So I think the cherry Twizzler is just kind of boring.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, that was neat. Hooray for Halloween. That's all, folks.
Well, we got the Red Vine versus Twizzlers debate going on in the chat room. That's
Ooh. See, that was one of those things that I never knew was a thing. I didn't know that people had such a kinship to one or the other. I never knew what red vines were. I was always like Twizzlers were always around.
Aren't red vines like the cheaper version of the licorice? I don't know.
What was the stuff like in Wayne's World that Garth had in the little dispenser? Was that a red vine? Because it was just in a big rope. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Nope.
So he had this gremlin, and then the top, like where the dome light in your gremlin would be, he had this little dish, and it had like red rope licorice in it, and you could pull it out, and it would like cut off a little piece. But it was in like a big spool.
Huh.
I'm gonna assume it was like red vine.
Yeah, because I saw that, and I'm like, what in the world is he eating? And he kept talking about like red rope licorice. And I'm like, never known such a thing.
So what you guys been up to this week?
Was in a mad dash to finish the Mega Man outfit for Grant for Halloween. But came out pretty good, besides smelling like paint.
That looks awesome.
Thank you.
It was really good.
I definitely learned a lot with using foam as the material. I need to get better at the seams, which I know is a common thing for people to improve upon. Overall, I got better at the assembly and kind of like planning process, but I need to give more time for the finishing, for sure.
From here, it looks pretty clean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think that
That still looks
inherent with
cleaner.
foam.
Yeah,
That still looks
that's what
cleaner
I'm
than
learning
compared
too.
to some other guys.
It's a distance thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
all the more accessories and the more details you have, it detracts from any possible visual screw ups. And look, everything looks better on Instagram when you can add a filter to it, right? But that's actually the most successful, most liked one I've had actually on Instagram, which was pretty cool.
Super cool.
Grant, it was funny. He started out with all the pieces, and he got 2 houses down, and he ditched the feet and the legs because the legs were contingent on the feet remaining. Kind of like locked him in place. So then he got up a cul-de-sac, and his shoulder pads fell off. So at the end, he was wearing he had actually a thermal on, a pair of thermals or long johns that were reversed. So that, because that one side was like a dark blue, but for some reason the reverse side was just the right color, light blue. And so he had like the upper part of Mega Man running around with like basically like long john underwear for pants. It's pretty hilarious. But yeah, he seemed to dig it. And disappointingly, some people didn't know who he was. But I get it. He's sort of obscure if he didn't play any video games. But a few people really dug it that we rang the doorbell of, so it's pretty fun.
There are a lot of people on Instagram that we know were making really unique costumes this year. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Deacon wanted to be Link for the longest time, and I'm like, let's do this. We can print as much as we need. I was going to print him like a Sheikah slate, get him some ears, and get him like the Nintendo official like shield and sword, and we were going to go all out. And then as I was researching it and getting everything ready, he's like, I don't want to be Link anymore. I want to be Mario. And then he couldn't find a Mario costume, and we just had like a whole bunch of costumes laying around, and he just like chose from the pile. I'm like, oh, well, okay. Like, I thought we were going to do a thing, and then it just kind of went away. But I finished the helmet. It's not finished, but I finished printing the Daredevil helmet.
Were you intending on wearing that if it would have been finished further?
Yes, because this is like three-quarters of it. So the back cap is sitting right there. But it wasn't done by the time we started trick-or-treating. It had probably 40 minutes left on it, or I would have tried to glue it in place, but you can't put it on with the back piece in. You either have to put like magnets or some elastic because of the way that the geometry of the helmet, you can't put it down on your head. It's like it form fits into your kind of eyes and then around your nose, so it doesn't like sit straight down, and it curves around like the nape of your skull on the back. So I would have had to try to figure that out, either like glue it together real quickly, walk around the neighborhood, and have somebody break it off my head later on. But it would have been silver because it's still PLA. Like, I haven't done all the post-processing and cleaned it up, but it's pretty neat. I got to finish doing that.
That piece that you held up, did that print as one piece, or those two separate pieces?
3 different pieces.
Oh, that's 3 different. Okay.
Yeah. So the front piece actually,
I think I could see Yeah,
it's a different color because we just did a video on finishing 3D prints for a Bits video. And in that video, we talked about XTC 3D, which is a 2-part resin that you can like lather over the top of prints to try to make it smooth and glossy. And the print that I used in that video was the front of this Daredevil mask. So it has a layer of the XTC 3D and then a layer of filler primer, and then the horn section, and then there's a seam right there for the last, or the 3/4, and then there's the nape piece that goes on the back of your skull. Right there. So those have just been sanded because these were printed on the Moore extruder, so they have some big, thick, fat ropes that you got to knock down. So I'll finish it and then probably make a little display thing with it and the nunchucks that I made. Little Daredevil homage.
You need to put it in, like, in case of emergency, break glass or something kind of thing.
I was thinking about getting like a trunk. Have you guys watched Daredevil?
There you go. Yeah.
Getting a trunk and like throwing it in the trunk all haphazardly like Matt Murdock has.
That'd be cool.
And just having those key pieces like stand out. So I thought about doing that. But I don't know. But I, not to keep talking, but I ran a half marathon on Sunday.
That's right. Craig, congrats.
Ugh. Yeah, thank you. That was terrible. I mean, I'm
doing
glad...
another one.
Yeah, I have to do another one. So that's fun. So Wes, you wanna meet Destin? You can come run a half marathon with us. Hooray.
I'll show up and he won't show up, so I already know how that'll end. Then I'll be extra mad.
Yeah, I would too. But yeah, I did it. I finished. My knee was absolutely killing me, but I finished. And I like the idea of running for like health and maybe recreation, but running that long, like endurance type runs, like that makes no logical sense to me, especially now that I've done it. I'm like, you people enjoy this? Like, this is freaking terrible. But I got a medal, so I guess it is good. Yeah. So yeah, it's not done. So I gotta run another one in December, the beginning of December. We're running one down in Huntsville with Bob and I and Destin from Smarter Every Day. And from what I understand, Destin hasn't trained at all, so that'll be fun. At least there'll be someone, I think, who's a little bit more miserable than I am.
Did Bob kind of rope him into it?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Not even kind of. He went, yeah, you're going to run with us, and just signed him up.
So this is I like to make stuff sanctioned event now?
It's a sanction. It's an I like to make stuff mandated event. But no, it's good. Like, the training and actually like going out and running and the discipline of it all like has been good, because I would probably not go out and exercise if I didn't have a thing to work toward. If it was just some like habitual maintenance thing, I would get bored with it and then sleep in my bed that I really enjoy doing rather than getting up and going running outside where it's cold and rainy. So it's good to have a thing to work towards. It's good to have a goal. So hooray.
Mm-hmm.
But I got about 10 miles into it and my knee started hurting really bad and it started to suck. And I'm like, I want to be done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. Let's just be finished. So we'll see if the second one is any better. Maybe. But Sean, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good, busy. I was able to fit in some editing time, so I finally got most of the Arc Reactor video done. I'm about 90% done. I just have to finish the voiceover, and I'm hoping that'll be posted. I want to say by the weekend, but maybe on Monday. I don't have a consistent schedule yet. But yeah, that is progressing. And the prop that I made for Mark's costume went over pretty well. And he loved wearing it around town last night. And
he looked cool.
Thanks. It showed up pretty good. I mean, especially at night. And it was a nice little flashlight to kind of light our way. And then we did a really quick hack with a cloth black glove and kind of a puck light slid under the glove for like the hand. And it's pretty effective for last night. So that should be coming soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, you were tossing out topics this week to try to remember.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and I think that there's one part of like one of these topics that maybe we could all kind of relate to, and the topic kind of has to do with the idea of being a generalist, or liking and being into so many things that you really can't feed all these different monsters just because. Like I'm doing the computer science with the coding and Python. I'm going to training for that. The week after next, I'm doing an 8-hour class for an animation certification, and I have a half a dozen other things going on right now. And it feels like I'm only going to have enough time to hit the surface level of everything, and it gets to be problematic when you want to dump all your time into one, but you can't. You know, you're doing a little bit of everything. And I don't think that this term gets used a lot anymore, but the idea of being a generalist and not really being an expert in anything.
Mm-hmm.
And just struggling with those types of things right now.
Yeah, that's a popular term in like 3D animation and like video game development.
Yeah.
And that's usually it has a negative connotation to it as well, because like a lot of studios were each role was very specialized, and you couldn't really step on the toes of another one. Some studios, like later on, more recently, they kind of tout themselves as letting people kind of cross breed a little bit and like learn a little bit of each other's roles to get more of a cohesive thing. But I think majority it's still a negative. So I'm with you, man. Like I enjoy to extent being a generalist because I'm interested in so many different things. But like you say, it's sort of hard to get particularly great at one thing if you're spreading the paint thin everywhere. So what were you gonna say, Josh?
I was gonna say, do you see being a generalist as a bad thing? Is that a negative connotation?
Yeah, I was sort of trained to, but now I don't feel it's a bad thing. I never really did. I thought everyone should know a little bit about everything, and maybe you can have a favorite, but not necessarily like just ignore the rest of those pieces of the complete puzzle, like in like a video game sense. Like I think it's helpful to know what other roles are expecting, at least a little bit, from you, so that you know how to better fit your product. If it's like a multi-team or a multi kind of step thing, like a video game or a level or whatever, it definitely helped to know like the artist's thought process when creating art assets, or if you're like a tester for a video game, it's helpful to know how the artist thinks or how they set things up in order to be able to write the bug better or whatever. That's in my own personal experience, but I know the Navy was not like that. You had one specific job, and unless you like cross trained and spent like way more hours in another like set of certifications, and then you'll likely hear an earful from your supervisor like, why didn't you take that time and put it towards like extra certifications in your normal rate or job? So it's sort of looked not kindly against there too.
The Army was way different
Really?
because the Army didn't have enough people or enough money or enough stuff, so you were expected to do like everything in all ways. And so I really love that MacGyver kind of feeling, like you're put in a situation and you have to figure it out. And so as many of those like Mega Man, right? So you can use all of the different Mega Man suits if you need to at any given time. And so having as many of those in your arsenal as you can, so that when you find yourself in a situation, it's like I either know how to get out of this, or I know how to fix this, or I know how to do whatever, or I have just a surface understanding, or I can go to the place to dive deeper. But I mean, that's in solving a problem. That's Sean. I'm curious to know, like, you are doing that to teach other people, which I guess, I mean, for like social media and the stuff that we do, like, sure, some loose line can be drawn to that, but like you are directly like, here's your thin coating, go out and influence the minds of the future.
So for me, there's also a certain degree of fear because I am being pulled in so many different directions right now. In fact, this week I found out that next year there's a possibility that I could be teaching 3 different programming languages at the same time, game design, traditional animation, digital animation, and 3D animation all next year. My brain feels like a scrambled egg right now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but my concern is that, like with a lot of these, I have experience in all of them, but my experience only goes to a certain level, and making sure that I could still help and assist those students beyond those levels. It hasn't been an issue yet, just because in the classroom there's only so much time to get so far. But I have, like this year in one of my computer science classes, I have some really advanced students that know a lot more than I do. So my approach is more about breaking bigger problems down into smaller pieces and helping them with the process, because they're going to have to figure out a lot of the syntax and more technical stuff on their own. So I'm really nothing more than a guide. And I'm just wondering as time goes if I'm going to continue to have that problem in each of the different disciplines, because I'm not an expert in anything. The only thing I'm an expert in is teaching. So that's kind of my bread and butter that I have to kind of stick to. But in terms of the content, there are definitely some limits. You know, I'm trying to teach myself this digital animation program that I'm getting certified in, and I put a lot of time in on my own, but then I'm supposed to be teaching the 3D animation portion in, 6 weeks? And yeah, I'm a little nervous.
What's the program you're getting certified in?
Harmony Toon Boom.
Oh, it's that one. Okay.
Yeah. Which I love, by the way, but, you know, I'm only going to have, so much time to put into it.
I know Bob gave a talk at some conference recently about the benefits of being a generalist versus being a specialist.
Right.
And he said it was kind of ironic because everybody there is like either in multimedia space or business owners or like really influential people, and they were all saying like, you need to be an expert, you need to have a single path, and you need to be really good at this thing so that you can gain credibility, or you can gain people in a specific audience set, so that you're not trying to please too many different people in too many different methods or venues. And then he gets up and starts talking about that. And it's something he believes in because of what he does. And luckily, I get to feed my love for being a generalist like at work. Like it's what I do every day. We get to solve problems, and I get to look around and a giant like Sound of Music type spin. I go, I have all the ways. And so I get to choose like the best or the most appropriate method to solve a problem rather than trying to get or rig it together with what I have available. But
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I just want to kind of be clear for you guys and anybody listening. I'm not complaining. I love my job, and I love that I have this dilemma, because I've had jobs in the past where I've had a singular task, whether it was when I was doing computer networking and consulting, or when I was a web designer for one of the universities around here. I hated it. I was miserable because I got so locked into something that I constantly went looking for something else
Mm-hmm.
that to balance it out. Well, I have that balance now. The only problem is my day is run by ringing bells. Every class ends in 55 minutes and I have to switch gears. So with any momentum that I gain, it stops and then I have to switch. It's kind of a continuity thing. There's no solution to it. It's a problem.
I can see where that would be a challenge. I don't know, I have the same feeling. Like when I was at Lockheed, and even before then, I got really, really good at the very specific things they wanted you to be good at. And to try to excel professionally in an avenue that was outside of that kind of specialty that they wanted their people to have because you had a job description, it was really difficult. Like kind of Wes, like what you were saying about the Navy is a lot of professional places, like you were hired to do a job, and then a lot of the job description is not going to cover some of the ancillary things they want you to do. With Lockheed, like I made the mistake of being good with computers or being good at organization or being good at certain things, and they go, "Oh, well, you're good at that?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm naturally good at it because I really dislike a scenario that doesn't use it or doesn't have it." I go, "Okay, well, if you're good at it, you should do all these other things too." And so
Yeah.
you kind of good work is rewarded with more work.
I ran into that too.
Yeah, and depending on where you are in life, you could become a specialist in something that you really don't want to be a specialist in just because you happen to be decent at it.
Yep.
And so sometimes it's really hard to be a generalist when you want to be, when your bosses or your supervisors see you as like, "Oh, there goes Wes, like he's the computer guy." And you're like, "Ugh, no, because you guys are just morons and you don't want to be better at something, so you're
Yeah.
just going to put this all on me because you're lazy."
Yep.
So you can be kind of pigeonholed into a thing when you don't want to be. But I think that's where a lot of people's workshops come from. I think this big, massive maker movement is kind of a result of that, where people are stuck in a singular lane professionally where they want to get into woodworking or metalworking or 3D printing or cosplay or whatever to kind of satiate that need to do something else, to operate on the fringe other than that one mundane, like stamped out profession they have every day.
I mean, I think this podcast is kind of a result of that, to a degree. And, we all got involved in the DIY and had our channels, and that was kind of the evolution of it. At least that's one of the reasons why I started Geek Builders, because I needed something different.
Well, okay, so I hit my computer. So the thing that you got started with in your channel, so for me it was woodworking.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that in all of the spectrum of skills that you've acquired since you started, do you find yourself reverting back to that primal skill that got you going in the first place?
I'm not sure I follow the question. Are you saying for the
Well,
reason for me starting the channel?
Yeah. So when we talked about 3D printing, you're like, I could just make that on the bandsaw really quickly rather
Right.
than going through 3D printing. So is there a default that of all of the spectrum of things you have available to you now, you got a CNC, you have access to 3D printers, digital modeling, things like that. Do you find yourself reverting back to, say, for me, it was woodworking. I think for you, it was probably woodworking as well, like the reason you started your channel in the first place?
No, actually, I started with woodworking because that was kind of the cheapest thing for me to start with, and I was familiar with it. In fact, I think I might have talked with Wes a week or two ago that I could kind of see myself in the future ditching almost all woodworking. Yeah, I mean, conceptually, I still have a need for being able to cut wood and do different things, but I'm tired of pallet wood. I don't want to make furniture. I would actually rather 3D model, CNC, 3D print, and animate. I think that's more of my default because that was my actual roots starting almost exactly 20 years ago right now. That was my original passion.
Okay, so yeah, you're going back to an original, I guess, as a skill set, just one that wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah, it's actually weird because I never thought I'd get back to this point. I had given up on animation, never thought I would ever touch it again. And then it came back around. So things are weird for me right now. It's like a huge sense of deja vu.
So Wes, I know that you're growing, or you were growing into woodworking for a spell. So is that one of your generalist merit badges?
I think a merit badge is a good way to look at it. Like I was approaching that from like an artist perspective, as in that was just another medium, with a unique set of tools for that, process or whatever. Like painting is a different set of tools than sculpting, right? So you need special paintbrushes. You can't necessarily sculpt with a paintbrush, so you need the tools that match the job. So yeah, I have not really done any woodworking since my last woodworking project, besides like some shop projects, but nothing creative or super complicated. I mean, beyond like a CNC carving, but I don't really count that as woodworking. That could be plastic. It's just whatever the material happens to be under the CNC, But I know one of my main first projects was a generalist project, right? The Mario nursery. So I had painting, sculpting, 3D printing, CNCing that I didn't do, but I had another person that knew how to do it at the time do it for me. Casting, all kinds of stuff. So that was, to default to something on my channel that may not be applicable to me, but I would kind of refer myself back to what Sean said, and like a lot of my original training is sort of coming back to haunt me in like soldering. That was something I learned in the Navy, really got my hands dirty in the Navy with that, and electronics troubleshooting, and so that's sort of my interest in Raspberry Pi stuff and Arduino tinkering, and I don't know, it's sort of, I'm interested in a lot of things, and my default is to be a generalist, I guess. Really.
You know what though? I'm going to debate you on your classification at generalist for that project.
Okay.
Because a generalist, I don't think would actually be able to do all those things, especially the sculpting for likeness like that. I don't think that was a generalist skill. I think that's a little bit more advanced than you give yourself credit for on that.
Well, yeah, I'll shoot the gap in between the both of you. That yes, that was a huge mixed media project across many different skills. But each one of those skills was of a professional and like expert level.
Exactly.
So like, if you were to ask Michelangelo to do like a Raspberry Pi project with the 16 Chapel, he would be like, "No, man, I'm not going to do that."
Right.
So not only did you paint the beautiful mural, you did all of those things.
Yeah.
And those were all a step above like the surface coating, I think, that people would think of when they hear the generalist as a term. Like, oh, you dabble in a couple things. Like when you look at your final result of your air quotes generalist project, like none of those are dabble. Like each one of those are pretty much expert level at whatever you were trying to do.
Well, I thank you for that. It's also another thing where like I've seen it for so long that the wow is sort of wearing off. You know what I mean? After a while, and then I get someone that had never been over to my house before, see it, or not even know that I did the thing. They just come over, like they're a parent of Grant's preschool friend or something like that. Come over for a birthday party. They happen to go up there and look at her. Grant's like, "Hey, you want to see my room?" Because that's the thing he says. Now he knows that's the thing that people will be interested in. He doesn't really get, I guess, that everyone else, all the other kids' rooms aren't like that, I guess. I don't know. But so that sort of reinvigorates and kind of motivates me and reminds me that it's not around kind of an average thing, which I know it's not. It's just hard to describe. Like,
see, I think Wes should have his own show called Epic Nursery Builds.
You'll have one Mario video here.
You may only need one with that scope. I mean, you have Mario Kart. You got to do a Link one now. Maybe the Smash Brothers if the kid's really active. I don't know.
Smash Brothers would be good. That's a good one.
So as generalists, what is that skill on the horizon that you kind of you squint toward? You're like, that might be cool. What is that?
Welding.
I've
never tried it. Want to.
I'm getting pushed in a direction that I really don't want to be pushed, but I don't think I'm going to have much of a choice, and that has to do with some more engineering related skills that I don't have any of. A lot of that is including like Arduino and automation,
Hmm.
and I'm kind of adjacent to a lot of that stuff. I know the lingo, but I don't know how to do a lot of it. And like right on the verge of robotics, since we're going to be doing some of that stuff soon at my school, and trying to tell people it's not the same thing. Do not put it directly with computer science and programming. There's some similar skills, but it's not the same thing. You have power management, you have circuits, you have a lot of other things. It's not the same thing.
Okay, well, not something that is like, a headlight in a train tunnel. What is something that you're looking forward to maybe trying? Something is there something that you think would be neat, that glass blowing or candle making or goat yoga? I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of things as far as I can mention. Okay, welding. I think sewing, leather work, things that we've seen growing and more people doing, kind of like branching out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested vaguely in all of those, but it's just a passing interest because I know that I can't spend any real time with any of them. Plus, I think it's kind of like an application. If I had a project that I wanted to really accomplish or do that required one of those skills, then that would be kind of the deciding factor for me.
Yeah, on this whiteboard I have here that you can't read intentionally, which is a good thing. I have some projects listed that are future video projects and future things I would like to get into for builds that involve like leatherworking, because I've never done that before, and I could integrate some like laser stuff into it because I know that's a popular thing you can use, and like you can CNC like little shapes that you can emboss the leather with, similar to the books that you were doing, I think, Josh. I've got a RC receiver and transmitter for like an RC plane sitting over here for a project that involves that sort of stuff that I would like to dabble in, and that's sort of the direction I want my channel to go in, and kind of like have a reason to dabble in new stuff for me, and have the audience explore that new material and that new process with me. That hasn't really come across in all my videos, not the few videos that I have, but in my Instagram I think it's a little more obvious because I show like earlier pictures in the progress, behind the scenes kind of steps and everything. But that's one of my ultimate goals, is to kind of show that, hey, this is the first time I've done this. You can do it as well. Like the casting, the slush casting I did for Mario, first time I ever did that. First time I molded something that large. Before that, it was a little turtle this big. It went from small turtle to like the Mario head and hat, as far as like silicone casting and stuff. Sculpture, I hadn't done that since I was in high school, so that's a little bit of a cheat because I did have previous experience, but that was like 10 years or more that had elapsed. The woodworking thing, like the inlay, I had never done that before. I never used a chisel for woodworking. I never used a router before that project. I didn't really express that.
And again, that cabinet in person, is beautiful, and I'm really particular. Like, I'm not gonna call myself a woodworker, but if I default to something, it's that. And that cabinet is awesome.
Well, I don't know how to explain that. Maybe because it takes me 9 months to make something, so I end up being somewhat proficient by the time I get to the end of the project.
I think if there was a skill that I'm interested in doing, that I've always like really wanted to do but haven't started, but I've held all of the tools and stuff in my hand at the store.
Yeah.
And going like, no, not yet, and put it back. It's stained glass.
That would be fun.
Like, I've always been interested in stained glass. I have ideas for stained glass. Hobby Lobby is like riddled with all of the stuff you need to get started. There's a lot that you have to kind of get, I think.
Yeah.
But
the barrier to entry is kind of high as far as materials.
It's higher.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole different avenue. Like you need a setup, kind of like pottery. Like I really want to do pottery. I did pottery in high school, like you're saying, and I loved it. I mean, you can just mold a block of clay, or you can get a wheel to make it a little nicer and a little more proportional. But like that's a thing. And so, Sean, like you're saying, like I have a project in mind, but it's nothing so driving that's like, ooh, I got to get a jump on people, or I have to put this piece of content out right now, so I got to go buy all this stuff. Like when it comes, it'll come. But I've always wanted to do stained glass and kind of welding, like you're saying. Like I've dabbled in welding a little bit. I want to do more. There's actually a project that Tiff is having me make that I'm probably going to weld up. It's probably going to be ugly and gross. But as far as something that I've never done that I've always wanted to, that I don't think has a MacGyver-esque like application. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think there will be a sticky situation in life where I'm going to be able to apply the concepts I've learned from stained glass making.
I know.
You need to wrap it in foil and solder it together. But yeah, it's always been something I've wanted to do. So I'll add that too. I'll get that merit badge one of these days.
Merit badge. That's a good way to think about it. I was also considering this when I first started the channel to have... I mean, obviously, I have a video game influence to it, but I wanted to have the videos have a video game kind of overlay to them in an aspect where you get like an achievement thing pop in. Like by the time you've completed this video and done the stuff I did, you'll get ding the achievement for 3D printing or CNC, and I wanted to do that, but I could never really think of a nice way to have that consistent and have it make sense. But that was definitely on my would like to have.
I always thought that would have been kind of cool for the community, is to earn badges that way too. You know, especially since a lot of us kind of started with very little experience in any DIY, and we've progressed a lot in the last 4 years. And with each new skill acquired, I think there's a little bit more confidence in approaching the next one.
That'd be neat too. Like have like the community member list. Sort of like LinkedIn, I guess, because you can do that in LinkedIn where you kind of give yourself, you know, different classifications for beginner, intermediate, expert of different skills, but have that more of the DIY spin to it. So then if you need a person that's good at glass blowing, you know, you wanted to pick up the glass blowing, you don't know where to start, who in the member list is good at that, you know, in that level, or maybe they're one step above you, maybe not at the uber, you know, ninja level of glass blowing, but maybe one step above you, they can teach you enough to get to where kind of they are and kind of just stagger step their way up in skills. That'd be kind of cool to like have like achievements, kind of like what you're thinking. I mean, kind of gamify DIY. T-shirt.
Yeah.
Don't you guys steal that out there in the chat?
You know, it's funny as you're mentioning this. You talk about glass blowing.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that long ago when if somebody would have said glass blowing, like why the hell would I ever want to do that? But because of being a part of a certain group of people and thinking more creatively in a more regular basis, everything seems more appealing now.
Yeah.
I think there was a certain part in my life when I was in college that I had realized I had not done anything, hadn't really been anywhere, didn't really have any special skills that I could be really proud of. And I made a conscious effort or a conscious decision to like, I want to gain experiences, like more than being like a master or something. Like I just want to experience as many places or just like hobbies or whatever as I could. And like that was part of the reason I joined the Army, because I'm like, I don't know what it's like to be in the Army. Let's do that. I don't know what it's like to go to war. And so it's the same thing, that mentality carried over to like making things or the DIY community or whatever. Is like, I don't know what it's like. And it's the same thing with running that stupid half marathon. Like I can't comment on it because I've never done it. Or you shouldn't comment on it if you've never done it. But it's the same thing. So when I see somebody do that, it's not that I want to copy them. As I'm like, oh, I wonder what that's like. I wonder if I would be good at that. I wonder if that would make me happy. And so you can actually know, like, nope, leatherworking sucks. Or nope, this is terrible. Laying floors are garbage. I don't want to do that ever again. So it's gaining an experience more than gaining like a mastery.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good frame of mind.
I just thought of something as you were saying that, and Donovan from Once Upon a Workbench was typing in the chat, "Don't you steal my idea." He's trying to steal my idea. But you said you can make like a patch, for the merit badges, kind of like what you were saying, Josh. Have a patch for each DIY topic, and as they complete the things in my videos, I could send them a patch like they earned the merit badge, right? But that reminded me that was another thing similar to your stained glass that I wanted to get into for a while, and have like the ability to make my own patches. Like Caleb crafted that. He bought a sewing machine that is computer controlled that you could do that. You load in the graphics, you tell it how the stitches, there's a whole lingo for it, but tell how the stitches kind of lay out and everything to make your patch. And I have a Metroid patch that I bought from him. It was the first one he made on his Etsy page, and I bought that as like an inspiration. Like, oh, I want to do this someday. So that might be a cool idea. Maybe I could 3D print them. I don't really know, but I mean, it'd be kind of neat to try. Yeah. Or maybe add that to like an instructable feature. Like this person is good at these things, because they already have some of that gamification where you are featured on the front page. You get like a special emblem on your profile. If you reach so many thousands of views, you get another emblem and things like that if you're a contest winner. So I think that'd be kind of neat to have a platform or some sort of mechanic, either socially or on a website or something, that you could do that.
I have a feeling we're going to be talking about this more.
Yeah.
next Maker Fair, everybody can wear their sashes.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Or maybe somebody can make buttons.
Tool belt or something.
Somebody knows somebody about buttons, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
You can make like leather biker vests, but it'd just be like the geekiest biker vest. All ride around in our Toyota Corollas and our minivans.
And they get the sponsor patches after that. Someone's got to pay for the party.
Indeed.
All right. Well, about that time. What are you guys geeking out about this week?
Ooh, can I go?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I just remembered. In 3 days, we're gonna get a new dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So we had our previous 2 dogs pass away earlier in the summer, which was super depressing and a major reason I didn't want to get in the shop. You just feel kind of deflated, after having a dog for 16 years. There's certain things you get used to, so we were looking to fill that void, and it was a little bit of a struggle trying to not feel like you're cheating on your previous dogs, if that makes sense. But speaking of which,
my dog, shut up, Buckley.
But yeah, we're getting a dog. He's a 4-year-old husky, and we're gonna name him Loki. I think we decided, since Loki's adopted in the movie. He's of like a frost giant kind of origin, right? So it's cold related, and he looks a little bit like he can get mischievous. So I think that'll be a good name fit for him. And I made a little dog collar tag today on the laser as my first entry in Makevember, which apparently is a thing that I might try to do. So Inktober was a thing. Like every day you make like an ink drawing. Apparently Makevember is a thing. I don't really do these kind of challenges ever, but that might be a good motivation for me to make some stuff. So even if they're small.
You don't do those challenges, but you have an entire Instagram one where you present those challenges to other people.
Hey now, it's one a month, not one a day. That's a little different, but yes, that's true.
I made something today.
What'd you make?
I could do it again tomorrow. Yeah. I can't tell you what I made. Wow. I made super secret stuff for a thing that we're doing that's also super secret, but it was a problem, and I solved
pixelate it. So much you can't tell it is.
I modeled and 3D printed a thing that solved a problem, and it was cool, and it worked on the first try.
We're proud of you.
Huzzah! Thank you. So I just finished season 3 of Daredevil. which I really want to talk about.
We're working on it. We're almost halfway there.
I got feelings.
Okay.
I need other people's opinions so that I can navigate how I feel about that show ending.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think out of the recent
Vague
shows, that one's worth talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
kind of backtrack a little bit to last week. You challenged me to watch a little bit of a show.
Oh, yeah,
Cartoon?
that debaucherous, terrible show? Yeah.
Yeah,
How'd that go?
I watched the first season already.
Oh, wow.
It is very crude.
You're talking about Big Mouth, right? The
Big Mouth, the cartoon on Netflix. That's not
cartoon
for
about
kids.
puberty.
About puberty. But if you scratch away that layer of crudeness, it's one of the most honest shows you're going to find. Like,
Yep.
really.
Yep.
And people don't want to say that, but it's true, at least in my observations.
All right, well, we're 3 for 3 on that.
Yeah, did you watch your show?
No.
I've seen it before.
That's why I was like this, because it was on my list.
What's your
and
homework? What's your homework?
Watching
Let me
BoJack Horseman.
Okay, I even gave you the episode to watch.
Oh, I know. I lose points for the week.
You get a 0.
Got a 0.
I'll write you a note.
I'm geeking out about 2 things. One thing I kind of mentioned a little bit before, but I'll kind of repeat it now. The week after next, I'm going I have an 8-hour class, and then at the end of that 8-hour class, I have to take a test to get a certification in a piece of animation software called Harmony Toon Boom. And I'm geeking out about it because I kind of like the idea of being tested on this and kind of testing my knowledge and see if I know as much as I think I do or as much as I'm going to learn. And I think I need a little bit of that emphasis and reinforcement that not that I don't have confidence in the class, but I kind of like having a little bit of that backing. And the second thing I'm thinking about or geeking out about is, I think this might be a little bit old, but I came across have you heard of an organization? I think they're an organization called Hackaday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a website.
Yeah, so I came across a video of, they call it the Infinite Printer. And you guys might have already seen this before. It's basically a conveyor belt that will dump a 3D print off the base after it finishes.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you might have something to say about this, but I'll just finish my piece on it first. It looked kind of like a prototype. I liked the idea behind it, mainly because I immediately saw an application for it. I want to 3D print a bunch of things from my school that could be sold as a fundraiser, like a keychains or just various little things that I think that format is fitting for, but mainly for that application. And I thought it was a pretty cool solution to the problem. But because I don't have a lot of extensive experience with 3D printing, I also can't foresee the problems that might have to overcome first. So, Josh, go ahead, because you had a very particular response to that.
Wasn't that one of the last things PrinterBot did before
Yep.
they? Yeah, that's what I thought.
So there was a PrinterBot prototype that they admitted that it kind of worked. And then PrinterBot just closed the doors. They shut down and they're out of business now. And so if some company were to take up the mantle and make that again, then you may be able to get one. But yeah, there's a bunch of those sitting in a warehouse somewhere full of no employees and maybe a single light bulb on. But it kind of worked. But I think for like flat things, it would be very difficult because it's printing at like a 30 or 40 something degree angle. So without something that has a lot of mass to it, I think it would be difficult. Because it has to.
That was, well, it showed 2 different options. So one was a regular print that when it was done, it would roll to the side, and because of the way the roundness of the edge on the conveyor belt, the print would almost automatically be pulled off. Now, are you talking about the angled printing where you could do a continuous print?
Yeah, I was talking about the angled printer. That's the one that they have. It's the x-axis is on it's on a pitch.
Yeah, I mean,
so rather than printing
cool.
something 90 degrees straight up, it prints it at an angle, and then the conveyor belt takes it away from the printer head, and then will eventually, like you're saying, just like dump it off of the end. But they were saying that it had a bunch of problems, or not a bunch of problems, but they said they were having some kind of fundamental issues that I don't think fully worked out, but now the company's gone under, so I don't know if that thing is going to ever see the light of day.
I just like the idea of being able to print 30 of something and have it roll off the conveyor belt into a bucket or something else.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing that I thought was cool. So
yeah. Well, you can print the 30 and get a removable build plate and just put a new build plate down, start another print, and it'll print another 30 while you're getting the other 30 off. Which is, that's a practical kind of solution.
I'm lazier. I don't even want to do that.
You just want to wake up and have a bucket full of Pikachus.
Exactly.
Make the students do it, man. When I went to that middle school, those kids had they had like 6 printer bots. And I looked at this kid who was playing with a fidget spinner. I'm like, did you buy that? He was like, yeah, I got it at Target. I'm like, why didn't you make one? And then why didn't you sell 50? Like, you have a machine sitting over there that can do nothing but make those things, and it can make you money. He's like, it can? I'm like, dude, push the button and let it make you 10 of them, sell them for $5 each, and you got cash money in your pocket, and you didn't really do a whole lot. He's like, nah, that's okay. All right.
Kids these days.
That's middle school students for you.
Yeah.
Which I just found out from a conversation I had 2 days ago that I might be getting 3 more 3D printers in my classroom.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that they wanted you to teach middle school now.
I would quit teaching.
During my lunch break, I got to go drive over to the middle school, and then I got to teach AP English and Phys Ed and women's studies.
You got to draw the line somewhere. All right, so we would love to hear from all of you. Go ahead and check out our website, makinggeeks.com, and check out the contact page, and that is where you could drop us a line, ask us a question, and leave any suggestions for the show. And right there on the homepage, you can listen to all of our past episodes. And make sure you kind of scroll through that list there. There's quite a few episodes there now. Take a look at all of our past guests. We have had some very, very cool people on the show right there on makinggeeks.com.
Yes, it's your turn.
Is it? Okay.
We'll go that way. Yep.
Fair enough. I'd like to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/makinggeeks, and our top patron, Clinton from the C3D Prop Shop. He is our top patron. Thank you, sir, for your support, and all of our patrons for putting their money where our mouth is. We thank you so much. If you'd like to join this pack of hoodlums, then head over to patreon.com/makinggeeks.
And if you want to get a hold of us, you can look up the podcast all over the internet and all over the social media outlets, either Making Geeks Podcast or just Making Geeks. Look up either one, you'll find it. And if you want to write to us individually, you can get a hold of Wes at Geek Smithing, get a hold of Sean at Geek Builders, and get a hold of me at the PI Workshop. I'd like to thank everybody for hanging out with us this week. Hope you got a little bit out of this. Hope you enjoyed your Halloween. And I hope this gave you a little insight or a little inspiration to look for something that you have yet to conquer in your life. But thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll be back next week. Have a fantastic week.
See you guys.
Take care. That was a good episode.
Yeah, thought so.
Sitting around an hour 10, not too bad. Good content, though.
Mark from Make Tinker Share just joined.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
What's up, Mark?
Well, thank you guys for hanging out in the chat room. If there's anything else you want to talk about, drop it in. Yeah, I think the maker,
way to go, buddy.
the merit badges is a cool idea.
I was thinking your LinkedIn idea. Your LinkedIn has a thing where people can validate the skills that you say you have.
Exactly.
So I think if you get enough people
An
to
endorsement,
validate you, yeah.
Yep.
And speaking of all of that, I had an idea for, and don't hold me to this, but it's just an idea of creating a Making Geeks app. But with the idea of one linking to a lot of our episodes, but eventually maybe including some of the games that Donovan's come up with or stuff like that. I don't know. And then we could include the merit badges through our site.
And the app is also a thing you create. Could be another project, like creating an Android app.
Yep.
Even if it's not a complicated one, they have different tools and things that let you create simple, straightforward ones. So,
yeah.
I think we need
Like
to
I
have
said,
another trivia
Don't
night.
hold me to it.
trivia night, yeah.
I think trivia night was a big hit.
Do we need to have a quick talk with Donovan about next week? He wanted to know what the topic was.
Are we still on? Are we still streaming?
Yup.
I thought we weren't.